Hi, everybody. Russ Philpott, licensed professional counselor with New Day Therapy. And I just had some thoughts that I'd like to share with you guys about anxiety and our tendency to overthink. And I guess this has been coming up a lot in recent sessions with people, and it made me think back to a time I was working with someone who was in late elementary school, and they were sharing a story about how they had watched a documentary on sinkholes. And the kid, after watching, and of course, the television show about sinkholes was showing all the worst scenarios that could possibly happen, where I'm sure there was mountainsides collapsing or homes just being devoured into these sinkholes. And so my reaction was, oh my gosh, I can see why you're worried about that, because sinkholes in that respect are terrifying. Unfortunately, she hadn't watched the end of the documentary or didn't have enough of the information about sinkholes to realize that they don't spontaneously develop underneath your feet, or without warning just don't suck up your home, or as you're standing on the sidewalk doesn't spontaneously open up and suck you into that. And so there was a lot of anxiety about, is this something that can happen to me on a regular basis as I'm going through my daily routine? So that's where the kid was left with, if I continue to focus on that as I'm trying to go to sleep, it's obviously going to disrupt our ability to relax the mind and get to a restful state and get the restorative sleep that we need to face the rest of our day or our week. So we have to put anxiety into context, and I can certainly relate to the overthinking part of anxiety. And my mind is always telling me that if I don't attend to this issue, if I don't take care of the thing that I'm worried about, it's going to happen and I'm going to leave myself vulnerable or unprepared. And so that's the fear. If I don't take care of this, if I don't give enough time and attention to these things, then these bad things will happen. So a lot of times in therapy, when someone comes in and their thoughts are getting consumed by these things, we'll notice that their energy levels are just drained, as you can imagine, because your body is preparing itself through anxiety to say there's something that's causing you to be in danger, and you need to be prepared for it. So anxiety will cause our heart rate to increase. In the more extreme examples, more intense, it will be an adrenaline response, which prepares us for survival. And so anxiety is always saying, how do I protect you? So you better attend to these things. Sometimes we need to recalibrate our anxiety. So for my client that came in with the worry about the sinkholes, we had to say, well, wait a second, let's talk about sinkholes, and let's talk about what your fear is with that, and is that something that's likely to happen? And if so, we need to take steps right now to make sure that you're not negatively impacted by that. But if not, if these things don't spontaneously just develop and suck us in, then we have to recalibrate this anxiety. And a lot of times I encourage people to say, thank you, anxiety. I appreciate the warning that you're trying to give me. It's telling me there's something that if this were to continue or this was to worsen, then I'm going to be in real danger. But if I look around and if I talk with supportive people and I help to reevaluate the situation, that's not an imminent thing that needs to be attended to, then I can take the steps that I need to prepare for that, for the most likely things that are to happen. But then I have to figure out ways to wrestle with the anxiety that says, I'm not going to be prepared if I don't keep focusing on this. And I think this is where we need other people to say, did I do everything in my power to take care of the thing that needed to be addressed? And how do I let go? How do I distract myself? How do I shift my thoughts to something else so that I won't be exhausted by overthinking this thing that doesn't require as much attention as I'm giving it. So those are my thoughts on that. And a lot of times with anxiety, and I'm working with people, it's okay, I've attended to it, and now I have to turn my brain off to it. And while that sounds like an easy concept, that can be the most difficult part of it. And again, we're trying to retrain the brain from maybe years of a particular way of thinking, or trying to manage all that. So the brain naturally goes to that place, and we're saying, no, brain, we need you to go this way because you're spending too much time and energy on it. And I think we need to develop a forgiving attitude of ourselves and with our brain. And that's where I'm saying, brain, thank you for trying to protect me, but we're going to go in this different direction today. And the forgiving attitude of, I can be forgiving of myself as I'm learning how to do this, and how I'm trying not to overthink everything so I'm exhausted. One of my favorite James Taylor songs, I'll leave you with this, is The Secret of Life. And he goes on in the song to say, the secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. And again, yet while that concept is deep and brilliant, it's also very simple. But what we find is it's one of the hardest things to do. We're trying to retrain the brain to say, how do I prepare for what needs to be prepared? And then how do I let go of the stuff that I can today, because the more attention and focus that I put on that is not going to better prepare me for that likelihood, or something that's not likely to happen. I've got a question from Eric. Eric, thank you for tuning in. Do you have any advice for anxiety triggered by the death of a loved one? That gets into the grief process, and we have a new therapist that started with us, Krista Rates, and she is an expert on that. But you can do some of the reading that goes along with that, and I think if it's a loved one that you've had a deep long-term attachment to, that we have to be kind of forgiving with ourselves, that this is a process. And I think in the first year, it's like we're trying to relearn every aspect of our life that included that person, to say, how does this work without them going forward? And when you rip out deep roots, there can be a big hole there. So again, be kind, forgiving of yourself, and then also to acknowledge and validate the emptiness and the pain that you're feeling as you're moving forward with that. If you find that you're getting continually stuck with that, find a therapist that can help you to get unstuck. And most people will just need a little bit of assistance in getting over that hump. And once they do, and they get the flow going again, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be resolved. When you have a death of a loved one, there's just a huge emptiness there. So that's a process, but if you're stuck in the process, then it can be miserable. And I always tell people to pay attention to the difference between if things are moving in a positive direction, or I've gotten stuck, or I'm stagnant there because I can't move forward with that. So I hope that helps. I know that can be a deep topic there, so it's just spending a few minutes on that is going to be a disservice to that in general, because it's generally just a bigger topic. Okay, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I hope this gives you some ideas. Again, we're at New Day Therapy. I'm here. I'm taking therapy referrals. We have our new therapist, Krista Rates, who is also accepting new referrals, and she's wonderful. We also have Paige Waddell here, our nurse practitioner, and she can help in those cases when getting unstuck or moving forward is assisted through medications and stabilizing brain chemistry. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the replay, and let us know if you have any questions. If you want to call, make an appointment, you can get a hold of us on Facebook or call us at the office at 304-295-3345. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.